How have the successful authors that we so admire become as successful as they are today? So this is a really juicy question. And of course, the more you go down that rabbit hole, the more you study the writers that you love, the more successful you will be as a writer, which is why I want to get into it today. So the real answer to this question is fall in love with the writers that you love. Look at their prose, look at their plots, look at their structure, look at the way in which they help others and they impact others. Follow their careers, study and research, and you are going to find a path forward for yourself. You're going to find amazing answers. However, I will tell you that the other day, it was late at night, I was a little slap happy, and so I decided to start just typing in several dozen authors. How did Elizabeth Gilbert become so successful? How did Nicholas Sparks become so successful? I just did Brandon Sanderson, all sorts of different people. I just started asking ChatGPT, and it was so much fun. And I will say that it was a really worthwhile exercise. I got great answers, but I also saw some really awesome patterns that I want to share today. So for those of you who are not familiar with ChatGPT, this is the new artificial intelligence site that searches the internet based on a question that you ask, and then it composes an answer for you. So whereas Google, if you ask a question to Google, it's just going to come up with a lot of related articles. ChatGPT is actually artificial intelligence that comes up with answers for you. And it's funny because a lot of writers are a little worried about this new artificial intelligence. Will it replace us as writers? But it's funny because when I dove into this question and asked about a lot of different individual authors in various genres, what made them so successful, it kind of put itself out of a job, because when you can see the really distinct patterns of what makes authors so successful, man, we need great authors that love their crafts, that design stories, that design self-help books, that really entertain us and show us our own humanity. So at least as far as I'm concerned, I think ChatGPT is great. I had so much fun using it to research this juicy question. And at the same time, I can see why writing is a reflection of our humanity. And I don't feel particularly frightened that artificial intelligence is going to replace that anytime soon. Anyway, who knows? We could all be in the Matrix. I'm not going to pretend to predict the future, but this was a really fun exercise. So every single time I asked across all genres: sci-fi, romance, literary fiction, self-help, memoir. I asked about a lot of different types of authors, and every time it would give me 5 different principles as the answer. That was kind of its core number. And every single time I asked, it really did come up with things that were unique to that author. I was really impressed with the kinds of background and information in which it composed the answer it gave. And yet I was easily able to see, even with all the different authors, there were 5 things that, being my own ChatGPT, I want to share with you today. So first and foremost, what makes your favorite author successful? And this is not a trick question. It is compelling storytelling. Unique, compelling storytelling really came up first and foremost on every well-known author. And I think this is so heartening. If you want to be a writer, love your craft, love to write. And that really is still at the core of any writer's success. And a little secret that I want to give in this moment, with the different people that I looked up, they take big risks with their storytelling. It's emotional, big plot points. That's one thing that I would say distinguishes their storytelling. And so I mentioned Nicholas Sparks, for example. So often I've noticed we can get into our own heads. We're thinking about something, and maybe we have a character glare at another character, and then the character stares at another character, and then the character smiles at another character. Go bigger. So one thing, when I think of Nicholas Sparks, was an author I mentioned, he wrote The Notebook. And in that book, when the guy is asking the girl on a date, he gets onto a Ferris wheel, and the Ferris wheel takes him up, and he's just hanging onto a bar way up in the air. And he says, if you don't go out with me, I'm gonna let go of this bar and drop to my death. And so this is such a good example of taking risks with storytelling. Go big, get your characters outside of their thoughts, outside of their heads, and really make them take compelling action if you want to have compelling storytelling. So ChatGPT says, number one, compelling storytelling. Number two, and I'll go through the rest a little bit more quickly. So number two is promotion and marketing, again and again and again. So if you're familiar with my work, you may have seen one of my favorite infographics is, what is the secret to author success? Get better at writing, get better at marketing, get better at writing, get better at marketing, get better at writing, get better at marketing. And so this really is the cycle of a successful author. I've seen it in myself, I've seen it in my own research, and ChatGPT sees it too. So when you're thinking about marketing a book, this is another form of art. Get creative, have fun. I have a lot of fun just creating these YouTube videos. I also have a lot of fun creating posts and sharing things on Instagram. So bring the same artistry that you do to your stories, bring it to marketing as well, because those are the top two things. From Charles Dickens to Ernest Hemingway to Nicholas Sparks to Toni Morrison, to so many different authors that I love and admire. One of the biggest things that comes up, including literary fiction, is great promotion, great connections, great partnerships, and making sure people know that this great work of art exists. I'll stop using the word great now. So that's number two. Number three, consistency and experience. So many times, for instance, with Elizabeth Gilbert, with so many authors, it would say writing experience. And then it would say this famous book that you've heard about was her 5th book, was her 7th book. And so keeping at it, one of the phrases that I like to use is trust the snowball, not the avalanche. Your writing success is not just going to fall upon you like an avalanche. You snowball it up. You come back to the page day after day. You come back to your marketing day after day, and you just put one foot in front of the other and keep moving forward. So 3 is consistency and experience. Keep writing, keep marketing. Number 1 is write better stories. Number 2 is do better marketing. Number 3 is keep writing, keep marketing, keep writing, keep marketing, and make it fun. Enjoy it. Love it up. Now, number 4, authenticity, vulnerability, uniqueness, literary depth. This came up in so many different authors in all genres, is they were doing what they do best. They were being themselves. They were seeing what was unique about their voice, and they were going deep into it all the way. So it is so important to be playful when you're composing something new. Really experiment, take risks, etc. Because above everything, you can't do somebody else well. You can only do yourself well. And then 5th, this is specifically for self-help books. And this came up in a lot of self-help authors. And I also thought this was just really good, because this is scanning Google for information. And believe me, there's plenty of scandal. There's plenty of other things you can find on Google. And so there was no cynicism in this answer. When it comes to self-help, being helpful, being compassionate, knowing your people and knowing your results. So these are the honest answers of how to become more successful as an author, says all of the internet, compiled by ChatGPT. And so at the end of the day, your author success really is in your hands. There's always something you can do, and the ball is always in your court. So to finish this off, if you want further resources, I have created a video series of lessons around self-publishing. Recently, I've covered a lot of different authors: Brené Brown, Charles Dickens, Marie Forleo, all of these different authors that started out publishing themselves and then really snowballed their own way into bigger success. And so if that sounds like something you want to do, I've got the perfect resource for you below. So sign up for the Secrets to Self-Publishing. It's completely free. It's got worksheets, 3 videos, and you'll be able to move forward with this yourself. So no matter what, take some time this weekend, dedicate it to your writing and moving forward with your author dream. So much love. Talk soon.